Welcome to Unstoppable Real Estate Investing Wealth. My name is Billy Alvaro, aka the Unstoppable VA, former billion-dollar mortgage banker gone bankrupt turned professional real estate investor, where each week you'll learn the tools, strategies, systems, and secrets myself and other highly successful real estate investing entrepreneurs use to start, grow, and scale their businesses, creating massive profits, and how you can too. And we'll teach you how to put those profits to work so you no longer have to. Get ready to finally experience financial freedom and generational wealth. Now let's get started.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode, Unstoppable REI Wealth. Usually in a standing position. It's a little awkward for me. I'm actually sitting today. I don't know why I'm sitting. I just think I'm in a more calmer state. And I think it's because I'm interviewing a friend of mine from Utah, Matt Oviatt. Matt and I met about, I'm going to say it's been about 10 years now.
I think so.
It's been a while in CG. And Matt and I just kind of gravitated towards each other. He's a unique individual. He's a go-giver. He's a family man. He's like the millionaire next door. He's so unassuming. I think him and I had a conversation a while back. We went out with the wives, and he said his kids have no idea just how well they're doing. He wants to keep it that way. And so, Matt, I want to welcome you to the show, brother. You're a solid individual, and I'm really proud and happy to have you on the show today.
Dude, Billy, I'm proud to be here, man. I always love talking to you. Every time I see you, I feel like I just want to hang out with you and talk to you more. Like it's been too long. Every time I see you, it's been too long since I saw you last. So, yeah.
I mean, prior to coming on, we spent 25 minutes just shooting the shit and catching up and talking about things.
Yeah, man, you're always an easy guy to talk to, and yeah, just like super easy to connect with. And from the first time I met you, Billy, I just connected with you and always admired you so much. So
likewise, you're a solid human being in my book, brother. You're a giver. Matt, I watched you since you joined CG.
Yeah,
and you came in like most of us, where we had a good business model, we had good direction, but we didn't have all the pieces put together. We were doing a lot of it on our own. We didn't really have a team. And one of the things I've admired about you over the last 10, 11 years is you have built an absolutely magnificent business. And I'm not just saying this to blow smoke for the listeners. Like, I've been seeing you and watching you for 11 years firsthand on what you're doing. You've gone from a person who is basically running it all to having an organization that is realizing what your vision is. But like, how did you go about building such an incredible team with the culture that you have? I really want to focus on that aspect, because there's a lot of guys and girls that listen that, some are starting, some are growing. This is really for the guys that want to get to that scale position. And you've scaled the right way over the last 11 years. And I want to really know what the hell your secret is, because it's amazing on what you've done.
Thanks, man. That's high praise. Yeah, actually, looking back from when you and I first met, man, I was like a kind of a solo guy. Like, I mean, I had a couple people with me probably at the time. I don't remember, but going from there to where we're at today over a 10-year period, it's kind of fun to look back and see the progress that you make in business and in life too, right?
Oh yeah. Where were you 10 years ago when you came into CG?
Yeah, I was just trying to think of that when you were doing, when you're talking about that. So I was thinking I was probably doing, I don't know, 40 deals a year maybe. And, I had a couple people, hourly people working with me, and some project managers doing flips, buying some stuff off the MLS, and, because you could back then. I wasn't doing any marketing. I really wasn't doing any wholesaling to speak of. I had a handful of rentals, no big deal.
You had a basic business that was doing well.
Yeah.
You were also the nucleus to that business, where you were involved and you had your hands in everything back then.
For sure. Wearing a lot of hats. Yep.
A lot of hats.
Yep. Yeah. So then it was, the growth took place when I started. Once I realized how valuable people are to your business, to me, that's kind of when the growth took place. And I feel like I've realized that incrementally as well. Like back when I first started hiring people, maybe I didn't understand, like I understand today, how important it is to bring the right people onto your team.
And put them into the right seats.
And in the right seats. Yeah. Yep. and then there's a lot of factors with that. I mean, it's their personality, it's the right seat, it's kind of how your company organization is set up and what those needs are, and it's like the right time of life for that person. And I mean, a lot of things kind of have to come together for that right fit. But if you're cognizant and you know what it is that you're looking for, and you can find those people, like, man, like that's the springboard for me in growing a business. And I would say also to that point, and just jump in here, Billy, with any questions you have. But I would say also to that point is really striving to take care of your people. And I there's
Elaborate on that. Like go deeper on that.
Yeah. So I think a lot of people look at employees as like a tool, right? Like what's the least amount I can pay that person to get the most value out of that person? I feel like it's kind of a common thing. And I think in the real estate investing world, you hear a lot of guys saying, yeah, pay that person, this much per hour. It's kind of like a bragging point, maybe, where like, oh yeah, I've got this person that works for me and I only pay him $50,000 a year, but
only, and they always have it with the words "only" before it. Only pay them.
Yeah,
right.
totally. And I'm like, okay, well, yeah, that's. Oh, excuse me. I said that's great, I guess. I mean, if you really want to build a long-term team and you want people to be happy and like with you and genuinely have your best interest at heart,
what's the secret?
There's no exchange for that. The only way that you can do that is you have their best interest at heart as well. It's not, what can I get away with? What can I pull over on that person or that employee because I have the leverage? It's like, what can I give them? What can I do to improve their life in a real way? And also make sure that it's a good fit for me where we can both grow together.
I love it. So you got to a point, I think it was, I don't know, it was probably 7-8 years ago, where you started really focusing on growing your business, your team.
Mm-hmm.
So the ability to bring people in, is there a certain process that you take people through to ensure you're bringing in the right person to put them into the right seat? Is there testing that you go through? Is there like levels of interviews that they go through inside your business? Take us through what that looks like.
Yeah. So, and full disclaimer here, like, I don't necessarily feel like I'm great at this. I've had a lot of failures with this along the way, and the process has definitely evolved from 10 years ago from how we handle that today. So to just jump forward to today, it's identifying specifically what the role is and what the responsibilities on that role are going to look like, and then we take them through a several-step interview process, which part of that includes the predictive index test, both personality and the cognitive score.
Which is important. You need that cog score along with
critical. Yeah, critical. And I always get culture buy-in from my team as well. So if we're going to bring in a hire, then I bring in the right people that are already on the team to sign off on that hire because I want their endorsement as I'm bringing people in. So we're building the team together.
Yeah, that's interesting. So are you having the people that they're going to report to in that meeting, or other people from other parts of the company?
Other people as well. I mean, we're not that big of a team, right? I mean, we've got 20 or 22 people on the team in total. And so when someone comes in, like, it definitely makes an impact on
the whole team
as a whole, right? Like, I can't just say, well, you report to that person and you're going to be overseeing that person, and that person's the manager, so you're just going to like talk to those 3 people here. Like, I want buy-in from everyone. Not that they're all going to be like in the interview process, but I might kind of get their opinion. I might have them meet them, and depending on the role.
I think it's smart that you do that. And I'm just going to back for a second. I want to get back to you, but just to prove the importance of that, we just had a bad hire, right? We had a bad hire that came in on the bookkeeping side. And it was It wasn't that she was bad in her job role. Her culture, her values were a complete mismatch for our company. I failed with bringing her in. And I think if I would, because I was in a position where I had a lot going on. You and I spoke offline. I had so much going on. I kind of needed a body to fill the role.
Yeah.
If I would have done what you've just suggested and had other people inside the organization speak with her, not about her qualifications in the role itself, but in her value, is she going to be a fit in the value of this business, the culture? She wouldn't have been a hire. Guaranteed she would not have been a hire, because as soon as she came in, it was evident the type of person she was. We have a motto in our company, one of our values is do whatever it takes to get the deal done honestly and ethically. And she would not do whatever it took. She would always pass the buck. Like one value, she passed the buck. Another, she just blew all four of our values she was blowing. But that's a good point that you're making, having people inside the organization to make sure they're a good culture fit for the team.
And that is something that we truly do hire and fire and promote around the core values. Like all along in the process, that's as much as we might emphasize the predictive index, personality, and cognitive, we emphasize the culture just as much, maybe even more.
Yeah, it's that important.
It's that important because, I mean, look, I don't know how you are, but for me, we only have so much discretionary time outside of work. Like a lot of our lives are in the workplace, or if we're not in the workplace, we're at least interacting with people that we work with.
Yep.
I don't want to bring people that are outside of my culture that I've got to deal with.
Yep.
And I can honestly say, like on a Monday morning, I come to the office, I am happy to see everybody on my team. There's not one person I'm kind of ducking or kind of avoiding, and just because life's too short, man. I only want people that I really, really enjoy working with. Period.
It's key, bro. It's what's going to get you to the next level. And it's one of the contributing factors to why your company's doing what it's doing. I mean, you're absolutely crushing it. And you're crushing it in an area of the market that took a little bit of a beating over the last 18 months. I mean, you guys got hit out there pretty hard when the market changed, right?
Yep. Yeah, we've been hit. We've been one of the hardest hit markets, definitely. Yeah. And we're still getting hit. I mean, we're not. I don't feel like we're out of the woods yet. We're still taking some body blows. So,
but you're a trooper. You'll handle it. Talk to the audience regarding when you indoctrinate a person in. You did the PI. You understand what their strengths are, their weaknesses. What kind of performance process? What kind of training first do you put them through, and then do you have consistent performance interviews with them to see exactly what they're doing and how to put them on a certain path? What does that look like?
As far as the training part goes, it's role dependent for sure. Some roles just require much more training than others would, obviously, right? As far as performance goes, we do have performance markers, but we don't have like formal like quarterly we
don't either.
Reviews and things like that. Like we just, I feel like, I don't know, and we probably should, I guess. But again, I feel like we're a small team. If it's not working, then we know pretty quick and we kind of make the adjustment. And that kind of goes back to what I was saying a minute ago, that I don't feel like I've been like stellar in this like hiring and firing process, but it's something that I've just kept at it. And I've kind of had that long-term vision for what I want my team to look like. So even though I have brought in people that maybe haven't been that good fit, we've rotated them out fairly quickly and then brought in new people that are. And then over, the process of years, then you end up with a great team. And fortunately, you have some of those hires that are just the clear-cut winners. As you mentioned, one of your employees a minute ago before we started this call, you just find those gems that you're just so grateful for, and you want to improve their life, and you want to do everything you can to help them to be successful because there's such cohesion.
And there's such assets. And when you have quality people like that, and I look at my company and I'm blessed, I have a really good group of individuals that work on the team. And I look at everybody there's no one on the team right now that I can say they're not a good fit. I had 2 hard fits over the last 7 months that exited out. But the importance of having quality people in the right seats, people that really care about your business and really buy into the vision. And that's the next thing. Like your team has not only bought into your vision, but you're a mission generated company. Like you did a presentation at CJ, I think it was about a year ago, on how you, and I want you to go over it. It's you have certain, I think you call it not your mission statement, but it's your
moments. Yeah, we do 5 impact moments each year. That's like,
go over that. It resonated with me, and I just want to know, like, what does that mean, impact moments, and how did you bring that in and integrate it into your culture with your team, and how did you get their buy-in to drive for the impact moments that you've the visionary have put out there?
Yeah. So, and I guess that's one of those things that speak to having a really good culture. Is when you want to take things on, it's so much easier when you have the right team and the right culture to begin with. Right? What's the saying? When the foundation is fixed, the cracks in the walls stop appearing. I kind of feel like that applies here because when you want to take an initiative like impact moments for our team, because everyone on the team or mostly at the time, everyone was a good culture fit. People bought in because that's how they are already. So an impact moment for us is something that we can do either to an individual or a group of individuals to improve their life. And so it's super broad. And our goal is to do 5 of those each year. And with that, with our VTO, right? Our vision traction organizer, if some of your listeners know what that is, we have our yearly revenue goals and we have our yearly impact moment goals. And so our 5-year goal is to execute 25 impact moments. And our yearly goal is to execute 5. And so we've done things like, remodeled houses for people. We did one that was like so cool. It was about, it was for a friend of mine that he committed suicide.
I remember this story.
Yeah, I told you this, right? So his wife and kids, they lived in a nice house for sure, but it just needed to be remodeled. So we went in and we did, it was about $150,000 remodel in 7 days. And we sent that family to Mexico on a trip for that time. So they didn't know.
Move that bus.
That's what it was, man. So then they came back and they were completely shocked at the transformation that their house went under. So all the impact moments aren't that dramatic, but that's the goal. And as far as buy-in goes for the team, because we have hired well on culture, our team just gets behind it and they really they're kind of that, giving type of, that's part of our culture is that.
Is that you, Matt? I mean, you're a giver, brother. You've been on missions as a young lad. You've gone on missions.
Yeah, right.
I mean, this is who you are. So you're bringing in the people that have that buy-in of what you do and believe in. For sure.
So I read a study a while ago, and it was on the topic of why does an employee stay with a company? And it listed the reasons in order of why they do that. So as a kind of a money-driven guy, in a sense, I would have just thought, well, money is number 1, right? It's not. It's number 3. So ahead of money is who is the leader of the company, and then what is the culture of the company, and then it's comp. And when I read that, I thought, man, that shows me what a difference I can make in my organization as a leader. Like the better of a person that I can become, the better leader that I can be, it's going to improve the lives of my employees like commensurately, right?
Sure.
And the better that I can build that culture, I mean, the better that you can retain people. And I mean, the whole goal here is that we can have it, that we can just experience great lives. And so much of our lives are working together. Like, what can we build together? Is a driver for me.
I love that. What do you do? I'm sure you do. Do you do anything for to bring in the company together, culture events where you have things that the team does besides the the impact where you're driving for others. What do you guys do as far as team events?
You know what, we do, but like nothing too crazy. I mean, I know teams that are like taking the sales team to Mexico, or like they're kind of doing this like the big things. But like last Friday, we all got together and we played poker. Just
I love it.
Like we hit a goal. So we're like, hey, we're playing cards for the next. I think we played for like 2 hours, but not like a big deal, but super fun. And because the culture's good, everyone kind of likes hanging out. And I mean, there's a lot of like joking and laughing, and there's guys like taking shots at each other, and it's just like we enjoy being together because we share the culture and the vision, and like we're all pushing in the same direction.
But it goes to your point. It doesn't take a lot of money to bring the team together. It's just appreciation and hanging out and having fun. Like the underlying theme that I'm hearing here is this cohesiveness. You have your belief. What your beliefs are similar, but you guys are having fun in what you're doing on a daily basis, and you're making an impact, right? You're changing their lives as the leader. They're helping you change other people's lives, whatever the 5 impacts you guys are hitting on an annualized basis. It's all working together, dude. And they're behind you, they're next to you, and they're moving with you in a forward direction to help you realize your vision. It's amazing.
That's right. And I think most people, they want to work at a place where they can give to something that's bigger than them. You know, it just makes
most good people, not most people, most good people.
True. Like most people that you and I want to have on our teams, they're going to fit in there. So if you kind of give them the framework that you can help them have that fulfillment, then so much the better.
I love it. I love it, brother. I want to switch gears for a second because I think the audience got a good understanding of the impact that you're having with your team and your culture and how that's gotten you to the level you're at now. We didn't go into numbers, everything else. We can do that for another podcast. But let's talk now about the importance, right? There's a lot of guys that, me included, back in the day, I was just all gung-ho on fixing and flipping and wholesaling. And if you don't have another aspect of your business integrated in, which is building the wealth, right? You're going to constantly, in my vision is you're going to be on the hamster on the wheel. You're constantly going to be running and getting nowhere because you're driving in cash. You're putting it out for marketing. You're driving in cash. You're spending your money and not actually investing it. You've built, you mind me talking about what you've built over the last 14, 15 years?
Yep.
You've built a pretty substantial portfolio. It's valued over $70 million over the last 14, 15 years. And probably you've been doing it even before that, but just not at this level.
Sure.
What information could you share with the people that are just fixing and flipping or just wholesaling on the importance of building wealth, and what kind of framework could you give them? What kind of insights could you give them? Some tips to really start bringing in rental properties, portfolios that they can, generational wealth they could rely on the next 30, 40, 50 years when they're getting in their older age. Like, what could you share with them?
Man, for me, it's so simple. Fix and flip it's not a long-term strategy. In fact, to me, it's fool's gold. It's just the means to the end. The whole point for me is I want to hold property because that's how wealth is made. I don't know very many people that have become wealthy by flipping a bunch of houses and paying a bunch of taxes on that.
Doesn't happen.
And those guys always seem to love to live a super fancy lifestyle along with that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it sucks you in. But if you can have that long-term discipline to put off the reward for down the road, I mean, that's exactly what buying and holding is, right? Just having that discipline to say, you know what, I'd like the money now, but I'm just going to parlay what I made on that flip or some of that money from these flips, and I'm going to put that into a long-term buy and hold. I mean,
Did you have a certain formula that you were working with? Like, hey, I'm gonna flip 4 properties, I'm gonna hold 2, or was it just, hey, I have to build wealth, and I'm gonna take it on the chin and not take in this ordinary income into the business. I'm gonna forego it, keep it into the deal, do the burst strategy, refinance, take out as much cash as I possibly can, and just keep on doing this.
I've always been a long-term guy, like kind of a put off the reward kind of a guy. Like even when I was a kid, and I would collect baseball cards. Like I would save money and I would collect baseball cards like crazy because I felt like that was going to help me make me wealthy someday. I mean,
You had it in you.
granted, I didn't know a whole lot at the time, obviously. But for me, it was easy to just collect and just amass property. So I didn't have a specific formula. I was never that organized. It was more just the priority was how do I accumulate properties because I knew that buying and holding was going to make me wealthy and fixing and flipping wasn't. So if I came across a deal that I could take over a mortgage or get seller financing, or if I could get institutional funding and put money down, that was great too. If I could bring in a partner to get a loan and I could bring the deal and bring my resource, however I kind of piece that together was always a top priority for me. And it was just done one at a time. I mean, I see some of these guys that have built these huge portfolios, buying these big apartment complexes.
Right.
Sorry, they're doing they're mowing the grass outside. I don't know. Anyway, but for me, it was just one at a time, just buying a house, buying a duplex, buying an 8-unit, and then just kind of slowly accrued and got bigger and bigger.
So I don't want to gloss over something that you said, because a lot of people I speak with, especially the younger generation, where they're like, look, I'd rather take that quick $30,000 or $40,000 and put it in my pocket. And of course they take it and they do the Rolex watches and they go out and buy the cars, and it's quick cash for now. They're not building any wealth. But one of the things I heard you said that I don't want to gloss over is you can build wealth. You can still flip and make your money. You can still flip and do your wholesale deals and have those chunks of cash, but you can get into some creative deals and start taking down properties where you are buying them subject to the underlying mortgage staying in place. You could do some deals where this isn't a fix and flip or a wholesale. You're not going to, the seller doesn't want it, but you can turn that into a seller finance deal where they're acting as the bank and they're giving you a deal. You can go out and find properties that you might not have the money for, and it might not be a good flip, but it's a killer rental. You bring in a partner who you find the deal, he puts up the cash or the credit in order to get a bank financing. You guys go into the deal together. So I think that's an important thing, Matt, that you said that I definitely don't want it glossed over, because too many people think, I don't want to forego the 30, 40, 50, 60K. You don't have to. There's a whole nother set of deals that are out there from 1 to 4 families and even multifamilies that it doesn't take cash to come in. You could take these properties down and start building a decent sized portfolio to where you still have your cash now, but you're building wealth for tomorrow. I think it's a key ingredient that a lot of people are missing.
100%. And you're right. It does work in multifamily as well. I think a lot of people feel like it doesn't. Even in Salt Lake. So I recently purchased a 33-unit building. I paid 5.7 for it. So this is like downtown Salt Lake. The seller carried $4 million at 3.75% interest only for 5 years.
It's insane.
Insane, right? But that's like multi-unit buildings don't trade downtown. Like my cost per door, I mean, if you're in the Midwest or somewhere, that probably sounds astronomical, but the cost per door on that purchase was actually really, really good for Salt Lake City.
Yeah.
And the seller carried on really, really good terms. So there, if that's what you're looking for, you can find it.
Deals are out there.
Deals are out there. Yeah, a little bit of creativity. You can put together some great stuff.
Matt, if you can go back, I'm going to wrap up because we're heading onto the half hour, but if you can go back to your younger self, the kid who was just starting out in real estate, who didn't know a damn thing about what the hell he was going to do, but he had that burning desire to start, knowing what you know now, going back 20 years, what would you tell? What kind of advice would you give your younger self?
Oh man, Billy, that's a great question. I mean, some days I feel like I don't know a damn thing today. So I see going back 20 years. I would say I would put an emphasis on raising money and buying and holding more, because it's so simple. And if you could raise money and get into more of these kind of partnership or creative deals that we're talking about, it's just such good leverage, and it's stable too. And if you put the right deal together, it's not risky. It's very
It's not
stable.
risky at all. And think about the compounding. Think about 30 years ago, if you started buying and holding at the level you're doing now, forget it. Your $70 million portfolio might be $700 million. So guys, the earlier you start with buying and holding, and look, I'm a fix and flipper, I'm a wholesaler, but I also buy and hold. And I started getting into it more aggressively later in life because of my whole situation. I lost my mortgage bank, $14 million in debt. So I have a lot of traction. I have a lot still to go. Don't allow yourself to get caught into the fast money for today. It's awesome, but you need to definitely plan for tomorrow. Matt, you've been, I think this is a great conversation. You brought a lot of value with the culture. You brought a lot of power. What I got out of this is the impact piece is huge. I want to implement that into my business. We have our next quarterly coming in next week on Thursday. So we're going to be bringing that in, and I'm going to be making that call to the individuals. And then the whole thing about you building your wealth, brother. You're a great human being. I love seeing your face again today. It's been a while, and we have to connect more, bro.
Yeah. Honor to be on your podcast, man. Love you, bro. It's been fun.
Like back at you, brother. I'll talk to you again.
Okay, sounds good.
Listen, Matt, quick question. If people want to find you online, how do they go about checking you out?
Man, I'm pretty low key, man. Like I don't have too much.
You definitely are.
Everything, and I don't know. I mean, I guess they kind of can't
Send you.
I mean, if anyone wants to get a hold of me, like if there's something I could like help you with one-on-one, I'd be totally happy to help. But I don't sell anything. I don't have any programs or platforms.
You're just a real deal who's doing business, and you building a damn good business, bro.
Thanks, man. Yeah, my email address is matt@propertysellersolutions.com. Yeah, feel free to get a hold of me if I can help. I'd be happy to.
Awesome, Matt. Appreciate you, bro.
Yeah, appreciate you, buddy.